Good day, Asian people all over the world and non-Asian viewers too. I want to say that today we are coming up with another program designed to project our culture to the whole world. Yeah, today we are having a very, very important person, someone who knows so much about our history, our culture, and everything about Asian that is going to be talking to us about our history and those areas I just mentioned. You see, there's one thing I want to point out here that ESA has so many persons, brilliant people, people that have a lot of knowledge about our past, culture, and all that. And we need to tap into their experiences, into their knowledge, so that we can have a lot of things to correct whatever things that are going wrong with our history, culture, and tradition. You see, if we don't tap into their knowledge, definitely we are going to lose so much. You see, people that are educated are not educated for nothing. When they're educated, it is good they show the level of their educations in the area they use it to assist the community from which they come from. Right now, as Asian people, we have a lot of them that are educated, deep scholars, and all that. And there's a need for us to tap from their wealth of wisdom so that we have enough to get our society better. Today, we'll be having a chat with one of our leading Asian scholar, a man who knows so much about Asian culture, history, and traditions. A man who knows so much again about our Asian traditional way of buildings and all that. I won't do the introduction for him because he knows how best to do it before you all. So sit back and relax as we present one of our prince to to the world through the interview we are going to have with him today. I'm your host, Sunday Eyimari Inegbunuse for Eagle Studio. Thank you, and please don't go away. Like I said earlier, our guest is already seated by me right here now, and we are starting now by asking for his self introduction. Sir, welcome to Eagle Studio, sir.
Thank you, my brother. How are you?
Fine, sir. Sir, we want to know who you are, sir, and I think it's better you tell the world about yourself better than every person, sir. Thank you, sir.
My name is Professor Joseph Ezienlen Ahianba. I'm a professor of architecture in Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. We want to be talking about, let us start the issue from the area of your profession, sir. You say you are an architect, sir. Give us a little insight that your architectural profession. I think we want to talk about the traditional aspect of your profession, sir.
Well, architecture, simply put, in a very, very simple way, is said to be the art and science of design. But it's much more than that. Covers so much more than that. But my area of concentration as a professor is traditional architecture, specifically Asian traditional architecture. That's my area of concentration.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful, sir. That is traditional architecture. We want to know much about it because I'm sure that many of us are hearing that ASA has its own side when it comes to that profession today. Please give us a little light about that ASA aspect of the profession, sir.
Yes. Before I decided to start architecture, even when I was a student of architecture, I thought that we didn't, some people in Nigeria as a whole didn't have their own particular identifiable way of building or constructing or that kind of architecture. But as I started to rise in my studies from undergraduate to postgraduate, I now started to see that there are specific things that are indigenous to Africa, to Nigeria, and even to specifically the Esan tribe. That was what drove me to decide that I should look at it critically and see whether there was any kind of architecture or elements of architecture or as a whole in Esan land. That's why I did it. And I later found that in Nigeria or in Africa, there's what we call indigenous architecture, otherwise referred to as traditional architecture. That has been there before the Europeans arrived in Africa or arrived in Nigeria or even in Esan land. That is what it is. And yes, there's Western architecture introduced, brought in by the Europeans. Yes, but we have our own. That's peculiar, unique to us, yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that we have our own now. Now let us now go back to the other question again, sir. Now I want you to tell me one or two things about how that traditional architecture look like, because it's like architecture has to do with building, planning, and all that, I think, sir. Now let us know the picture of how that of Esan looks like, sir. Please, through your explanation, sir.
Well, my dear, the architecture of Esan is hinged on the culture of Esan as a people. The Esan stock have their own type of culture. It's been there. In any case, I will first of all explain what I'm talking about, because culture is not tradition. Tradition is not culture. They are two separate terms. Culture is evolved way of life. In other words, it is an acceptable and adopted way of life by a particular group of people. But tradition is propagation of that culture for a long period of time, say decades or centuries. You keep repeating it. That is tradition. So tradition essentially is a repetition of culture by everybody over a long period of time. But culture is the way you have adopted, or which I would call evolved way of life, the way you want to do your things traditionally, or culturally, or in a local way. You have believed it, that the community should do it this way. That is tradition. For example, I don't know about other places, but I know that of Esan in Nigeria. If you want to marry a wife, you must go and do into what you call knocking on the door, otherwise called introduction, announcing to the parents or the family of the girl that you want to marry their daughter. It's only after that you can afford to call that young lady your fiancé. Then, after you have done that one, before you now have to fix a date, your parents will now have to meet that family to now fix a date, that today you want to do the proper traditional marriage. Otherwise, the proper term should have been the cultural marriage. We call it traditional marriage because the culture of marrying a lady in our area has been repeated over centuries. It's now known. In fact, we have internalized it, everybody. Therefore, you call it tradition because it's now being repeated by several other persons, communities, and the rest of it. So, you now discover that you are compelled or required mandatorily to pay the bride price with some items like yam or kola nut, and the bride price itself. You pay it to the family of the girl and give the father the bride price, which is very small, very minor. But even when it is small amount of money, it's very valuable. It's as big as 1 million or 2 million, the value we attach to it. The same way, the way in architecture, the way we have decided to be building in Esan, or even in Nigeria and Africa, has to do with the culture. Because the culture of the Esan man is different from the culture of the Igbo man, is different from the culture of the Yoruba man, different from the culture of the Yoruba man, different from the culture of Hausa man. So that culture is what dictates the kind of architecture that should thrive, that should be practiced by those persons. So architecture of any community or any society is hinged on the culture. That what dictates what should happen, essentially. After that, you now see other elements. The components of that culture will not determine what they are. And the components of culture, there are about 17 or more.
That is beautiful, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I know we are going to have a very wide range of talk today, but now let's now talk about, like in the past, how the building of a house now is so expensive now. How were some people able to build a house for themselves in the past? Maybe when things were even not as easy as it is now. Please let us take us to that memory lane and let us know the picture, sir.
Yes, the building of houses or settlement pattern in Ezienlen was essentially being done by defined communities, which could be extended family, the quarter, or the village, but not by an individual. In that case, the other name we should call it is the cooperative system of house construction. So if I want to build a house and three of us want to build a house, we arrange that I should build my own first, you will be the second person, you will be the third person in the same season, within a space of the dry season anyway, within a space of 6 months or so. The first time is that everybody will come to my house, the whole village or the community will come. The able-bodied men and women, not elders, they will come there. Those able-bodied men in Ezienlen are called Igini and Igbonuwere, or Igbama, or that's the kind of thing. It depends on which town you are from. Then they help you to prepare the main building wall material, which is earth. Yes, we use bamboo, we use other materials, wood and the rest, but essentially 95% of buildings erected in Ezienlen are of earth, either powdered earth or whatever, rammed earth, but it is the earth we are using, laterite, processed. Because of that community aspect of it, you find it is easier. Those days when I was small, you find these able-bodied men, numbering about 30 to 40, coming to a member of their community's site. They start to prepare it, and they start it from the beginning to the end. They keep coming, maybe every other 9 days or every other 9 days. That's what they do to come, and until by the time they come there for about 10 times or so, the wall would have been up. And when it gets to roofing, the same thing until it is finished and you move in. So it's essentially a cooperative system of house construction.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, we understand that when building in those days, it's like we have names we call the foundation, the first setting, and all that. Sir, can you give us a little picture of those ones, sir?
Yes. In Ezienlen, the foundation of a building is called ONU. ONU in Ezienlen is equivalent to the concrete foundation you lay in the foundation trench before you start to lay your blocks. But in Ezienlen, ONU is erected and it goes up to 900 or 1 meter above the ground from inside the soil, from the trench up to that level. You lay it first time. The second one is called Eva or Evale, which means 2, layer 2. Then the third one is called Inenele. That is layer 3. And the fourth one is called Iresohun, which is layer 4. In architecture, you call them course, first course, second course, third course, and the fourth course. That is for the commoners, generally for the commoners. But for the nobles, they add one additional one, which is called the fifth one. And the traditional ruler himself can raise his own courses to about 6 or 7. But the commoners are allowed to stop at Iresohun. That's the final one for them before you start roofing.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Now, sir, please give us a little picture of the village setting of the average Ezienlen village from your experience, sir.
The village setting is, in essence, is essentially linear settlement pattern along the footpath, along the village square, but with the intention of connecting every footpath or street or road to each other. And in some places in this, like Ewiyi village and Ekomondo specifically now, has the grid pattern, linear mixed with the grid pattern of settlement system. So, which is very different from that of the Igbos, the Yoruba, and the Hausas.
The question I want to ask now is this: is there any way we can introduce into our building pattern to make the building of houses now less expensive than the way they are now? Because we discovered that Esan has ways of building, maybe at that period, it doesn't cost so much to do. But now that things are so expensive, is there any system that can be adopted that was done before that can be added to the current way of building that can make building less expensive to build?
Yes. First of all, we have long abandoned the cooperative system of house construction. Now you give it to contractors, or you give it to an architect or an engineer to build for you. 2, another expensive way is the technology of construction now. 3, the modern building materials that you now acquire to build your houses. And 5, the taking into consideration the weather, the climate, the rainfall pattern, and the other things. But if you want to make it cheaper, you have to attend to the building material itself. Because what we have, the suddenly changed when the Europeans came. Our society or our people just moved away completely from the use of traditional building materials or local building material to the modern building materials, like Sanskrit block, corrugated iron roofing sheet, now long span aluminum roofing sheet, now stone coated roofing sheet. Ceiling now you now use asbestos or PVC or plaster of Paris and other things. But I can tell you, the buildings of those days are cooler than the buildings you now build these days with these modern building materials. And I tried because I cannot solve our problem. I attended to 1 or 2 building materials that I see whether we can get it cheaper. Laterite or earth is abundant everywhere, more abundant than any other building construction material. And after I studied the particular soil in Nesa, I took soil samples from Biaja, Wuhimi, Urumi, Ekpomairua, Igwebe, and other towns. I took them to the lab. It took me some 3-4 years to analyze them, various locations in these towns, and I discovered that the soils are very stable and that with just 2% to 2.5% of additive to that soil, it will be as strong or even stronger than Sanskrit blocks. And it's far cheaper. That's one way to reduce it. The other way you can reduce it is you have done some outside Nigeria or even in Nigeria. I just supervised a PhD student who looked at bamboo. Bamboo has become versatile so much that you can use it for wall, you can use it for roof, you can use it for ceiling. You'll be wondering, how can it be used for ceiling? You use it for ceiling. If you see that way it has been used for ceiling, you don't bother about air conditioners. You don't bother about the room being hot. It's ruled out because it has the lowest transmission of heat from the roof into the interior of the room. And when we do all those things and resuscitate the cooperative system of building and thatch roof and the rest, all we need to do is now, I didn't do that, is to look at the roofing sheets, vegetative covers. How do we now treat them, handle them, so that they last longer than they used to be? Because in those days, if you use touch list, for example, you are sure of mending it after another 4 or 5 years and replacing it after another 10 years. But if you attend to it and you treat it properly with some chemicals or whatever, I'm sure it can last 20 years or more. But earth, there's a building built with earth materials in 1926. That was a building the district officer during the colonial time, a white man from UK, lived in. The building is still there till today. By next year, it will be 100 years, a century-old building. It's still there, strong, and it's still being used by government officials. And at Tubiaja, I took a sense of more than 50 buildings built over 60 to 80 years ago. They are still there. Government officials are still occupying them. No one has given way. And it's difficult for you to see a concrete block building, a building with concrete, standing there for 60, 50, 60 years or 70 years without going to struggle to how to mend them or whatever, because you see so many cracks on them. So I believe that we can use local building materials to construct our buildings these days and get the same or better results at lower costs.
Oh, that is beautiful, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, sir, you mentioned that it was easier to build house in the past because there was kind of cooperative, there was cooperation when building the houses, meaning we can build my own as a group, build your own as a group, and the rest. And I think the area or the era of house opening comes in through that, because I think, like what I heard, that after the building, maybe the owner of the building have to call the people that helped to build for a kind of celebration and a kind of Thanksgiving, what we call house opening, or maybe the origin of house opening. Sir, now people now build their house or houses all together by themselves without inviting the villages for assistance and all that. How come again we are still having this house openings? And that we think it is like a case of taking from what we did not sow or reaping from what we did not sow anything, sir, by the villagers, sir?
Yes, my dear. I think that is this one took its root from the religion that has been introduced to us. I'm not saying it's bad, Christianity.
Right.
When you buy a car, you build a house, you now say you are dedicating the house. The traditional way of dedicating the house, or the cultural way, is that when you build your house with your family, extended family, and your village people, they support you, they participate, and they erect that building. It ends there. If excuse me, if you still have parents, especially your father is still alive, you have no ceremony at all, no official ceremony to say you open it or dedicate. You tell your father, I finished my house. Your father will come there, you offer him cola and palm wine. He will break the cola and pray for you and your family and your children there. After that prayer, you are free to occupy the building. That's it. But if you have no father again, that's only when you tell your village or quarter elders. They will come. You offer kola nut and palm wine. That's all. They pray for you and pray for your children, immediate family, your wife and children. And you are done. You occupy the building. This modern way of now, you will now build a house, you say you're dedicating it. The way they are doing it is a new and foreign system. So there was nothing like you are inviting people, you begin to dance, you cook all over the place. The money you are spending inviting the dances and the money you spend inviting people and entertaining them will be much more than even the cost of the roofing. No, it was not done like that before.
Yeah. So now we've talked about the village setting of the average Esan village. Now let us talk about the setting or the kind of pattern of building that is traditional to Esan. Just give us the picture of the kind of building or how Esan built their house in those days, sir.
What I'm going to say there is that, even let me go back a little bit. The settlement pattern is not just being linear settlement Itabomu with the grid system, but you have village squares in every quarter. So if you have 10 quarters in a village, you will now see squares 10 in that village. That's why a place like Ewe, where I come from, you have a square for Afuda, a square for Ewebe, a square for Ekomona, a square for Edwenga, a square for Dunkoje, square for Pekimiko, a square for Eduebare, square for Eduengroma, square for which is now called Eweje now. You have Digun that has its own square. You have the ones that has its own square. So that all these ones I mentioned now, they all belong to Ewe village, but every quarter has its own square. This square is the public space that you will say the government system, when the government setup will call public field. But this is a village square, because another name now you can call it public field, but this is no, there's no grass there. So it's a bare land, big enough, bigger than any government public field, where children play, where dances take place, where ceremony take place. Everything you want to do that is open for everybody, that's where you do it. So it's so wide that 2 buildings in the square facing each other will be at least 90 to 120 meters apart. Sometimes you find some of them 160 to 180 meters apart. In other words, if you take an express road of two lanes through the quarter, you are not going to destroy any building. And it's still so now. In fact, I have it in my book here, this settlement pattern. Then you now talk of the house construction. The house construction is essentially based on the culture, like I said. Settlement based on the culture. But the house construction itself, which I will call what directs the owner as to what helps him to determine what he wants, is that ESA architecture is evolutionary. It's evolved from culture, and it has to do with the household system. Initially, it is one unit household. So, like I said, the linear settlement pattern is what you have in my book. My book is titled The Vernacular Architecture of Ezienlen, Volume 1. By God's grace, I'm working on the Volume 2. I'm almost ready. By God's grace, before the end of this year, I should go to press. Now, this is the settlement pattern. If you look at this one, you see the quarters. This is Afuda. This is Dimiyo. That's Ikrimor quarters there. You have Duegala. I mean Dikala there. You have a Duegala. You have a Digun there. And all the services. You have the ponds. That was the source of water in Nesa, except in towns where you have rivers. So you have these ones, and when you now talk of building a house, it has to do with a unit household system, like I said. It evolves, it's evolution. Starting from a man having 2 wives, because polygamy is allowed in Nesa. Culturally, it's allowed. Now, a man having 2 or 3 wives, then you expect him at least having about 6 to 9 sons. And now these 9 sons will be living in their father's house. They will get married, have children there, and those children will grow up and equally grow up to marry. You now see the really a large extended family. You will now see the extended family will be more than 200. Yes. Now the issue now is that you now see multiple households. You can see 10 multiple households, 10 unit households, 10 of them in one compound. But the head of the family will be the real man, the father, who is the head, the most senior person. Before, it is at the permission of the eldest man, who is the father of everybody. It's at his permission that you can go out and you are given a land to go and build your own and start your own the same way that old man started his own. But how do you now construct this building? Because you married the first wife, you gave her 2 rooms, usually. At best, 3 rooms behind, not in the main building. The main building will be in front. You will see those things in this my book. Then it's the first one. You give her 2, 3 rooms. You now give your mother, if you are the head, another 2, 3 rooms, assuming your father is late. Then you marry a second wife. You give her 2, 3 rooms behind. Then the third wife, you give her 2, 3 rooms. By the time you end up and create the yam ban, livestock ban, all the rest, you would have closed it up. And you would better have a courtyard behind the main house. Then I'll give you a typical example of my father's house. It's in this book, who had more than 6 wives. Now, when you do that one, you now have a number of courtyards. That is why in Ezienlen, there is no way you see a typical Ezienlen compound, Ezienlen's compound, that you will not see multiple courtyards. That is why in the Onoji of Uromi, for example, because the Onoji of Uromi in those days, during the Obidi, during the Agba time, during the Obidi time, and the rest of them, some 400, 500 years ago, you could see a traditional ruler having 30, 40 wives. They will be in the harem. And you have courtyard, each courtyard dedicated to one particular function, one for ceremony, one for the wives, one for the shrine, for the shrines, the other one, a special one sacred, the one for the bath for the males, the other one for the females. You have so many things, courtyard for one thing or the other. And if you see the palaces that are here in this book, you find some of them have 20-something, some 7, some 14. Palaces, I mean courtyards.
Courtyard, right? Okay.
Courtyards. That's where it's concerned. And it is this courtyard came about as a result of the functions required that will be taking place in these courtyards, because they should not interfere with another function. You cannot be having the sacred courtyard interfering with the harem where the women are. Otherwise, spiritually, there will be defilement. You would have defied the gods. Then you cannot have a ceremonial courtyard and you now merge with that harem. The harem is where the children really play, the female children play. And you have the front of the building where the males play. So a number of factors determine how that building should come about. That is why the Ezienlen, because of the culture, dictates the shape and the format.
So thank you very much, sir. Yeah, let's now look at another thing again, sir. Now, Ezienlen were building houses before the white man came. What equipment were they using in this building, and how did they source those equipments up?
The equipment that we are using in Ezienlen for building these things are very simple. In places for I don't know where actually for construction of house construction, the building tools. Are you asking of the tools or building materials? Building tools. You will now have first of all you have the hoe, which a gwe.
Yeah.
That will now in place of it now you have the what do you call it the
Aho.
yes aho, or which we call it aho or a gwe. You have it as a digger. Then you have the ubala,
What is about?
which is really the digger. Ubala is digger.
Okay.
The local digger. Then Owewe is the spade. In fact, the wooden spade. So spade is not just a creation of the white man. We had spade before the white man arrived, but except that the whole entire object was of wood. Then you had what you call omama. Omama is used to ram the earth. So it's like when you fill your building up to DPC level, you fill it, and you want to ram it before you have oversized concrete, which some people mistakenly call mass concrete. What we used in Ezienlen at that time was called omama. You will see them in picture when you zoom closer. Those are the tools we were essentially using for all these things, for the construction.
Meaning before the white man came, we already have our own building technology then.
Yes, there's Ezienlen building construction technology. Even in framing of the roof, you will see it here. Look at it here now. That's where you frame the roof without using nails. You frame the roof, you don't need to use rails. You use only rope. And you fix it there, and that roof will remain there for another 40, 50 years, even 60 years. All you may need to be doing once a while is changing or mending the thatch roof, not the skeletal framework.
Yeah, sir. If I may ask again now, what were the building materials used for building in Eastern before the white man came, sir?
Where they were?
What were the building materials?
The building materials used were 1 earth, 2 thatch, 3 bamboo, 4 bamboo. It's different from bamboo. Bamboo is another thatch leaf, different from the popular one. This one is the other thatch leaf you will know in this area is the one you use in wrapping ofada rice now. You use it for wrapping go and ori and the rest of them. But you have another one, bamboo, that looks like palm fronts, dead palm, the leaves. Then there's a way you weave it together and becomes roofing sheet. So then when you do that one, we call it bamboo. Bamboo. That is called bamboo. The other one is called eboa. And they're all here. The material for construction. Look at it. This is bamboo. This is eboa. You understand now? This palm front, these are the things we are using for roofing. Then the bamboo and 3 branches was being used for the skeletal framework of the roof. Essentially, the wall is of earth, either mud, rammed, or adobe. Later on, you started using mud blocks. And later, you started having mud bricks. And later on, you now have board bricks.
Wow. So, if I may ask again, is there any way we can revive the Eastern traditional building system again in this modern inspiration, sir?
Yes. Let me first of all highlight the problem. The problem we're having now is that abandonment of Eastern traditional architecture. We have since abandoned it since 1900 because we feel our own way of living is inferior to the white man. Thank God that at least they introduced cutlery to us to eat everything, whether rice or yam or whatever. But the only thing we have refused to change is eating pounded yam with cutleries. Even professors, politicians, presidents eat pounded yam with their fingers. And nobody has fallen sick because from doing that one, that there's contamination. The thing we should do is that we should revive, we should cherish our own culture, we should cherish our own. Because we believe that until you build a house with modern building materials, you put air conditioners, that's when you have arrived. In any case, when you build with local building materials, you don't need air conditioners. You don't need air conditioners. My dear, this is my own building. I made provision for 11 air conditioners in this building. I can tell you, I've stayed 8 years in this building. I don't need an air conditioner.
Surprise is not here now.
I don't need an air conditioner. I discovered I don't need it because I have to consider the local design construction principles in ESA that complied with the climate and the vegetation and the environment. Because of that one, I don't need an air conditioner in this house. So we should appreciate that we have our own that we can sell. By the time we know we have our own culture, construction technology we can sell, building materials we can sell to other people, then we should be able to say, yes, let us go back and begin to propagate our own culture, especially architecture of Ezienlen. Now, it's not too late. It may take a longer time, but it's not too late. Because if we do that one, that's the only way. We have abandoned it. We feel they were inferior to the white men if we use the other things. No, we are not inferior. We are not inferior. So that's the first problem. Now we now go to the question you are asking. That what do we do? There's no other thing that we do. Let us start from somewhere. Let traditional architecture be taught in all schools of architecture, in all schools of engineering, in all disciplines in the environmental sciences or studies. Then, from primary, secondary to the university or higher institutions, and let the government take it as a deliberate policy and have a ministry or parastatal, or it can be MOTNA, the National Museum for Monuments and other things like that. Let them decide and say, let us have pilot projects in every state, in every local government. Yes, if you now do, there's a pilot project in every local government headquarters, for example, which is 774 local governments, and you have pilot projects. When you finish the structure of the building, you now say, okay, so government official, either the HOS or the chairman or any other civil servant should go and occupy that building. If he stays there for 3-4 years before he's transferred to another place, and by the time that person grows to become a director or permanent secretary, they will now understand why we should do our things in the local way. And we'll be able to say what we have. Look at Chinese architecture, Japanese architecture, look at their roofing system. Let me tell you, traditional architecture is not just necessarily using traditional local building materials. You can use modern or Western building materials to achieve traditional architecture. I can build my house with Sanskrit blocks, with aluminum roofing sheets, but the concept itself will be tradition and origin, rooted in an Esa. Wow. That's the essence. If I decide to build my house and I have a courtyard, once you have a courtyard in this kind of climate, tropical region, then you don't discover that it gives you security, it gives you social services, it gives you privacy, and apart from that one, it satisfies weather conditions, cross ventilation, and the rest of things. So it is not all the time that you use the local building material to achieve traditional architecture. No, you can even use modern building materials to still achieve traditional architecture. What is important is the concept behind it.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, so we are diverting to another aspect of the interview now, sir. There is a trending issue in the state now where the OBA banned the use of EBEN and other by non-princes and princesses in the whole of Benin Kingdom. And there are very many arguments and orders to the ban placed by the OBA. So I'm saying that the OBA jurisdiction does not pass through just Benin enclave, and whatever instruction or warning is sound cannot go beyond the areas of his jurisdiction. So please, I wanted to look at it. One, what are the use of the EBEN and other? Then two, does the OBA have the power to pass a decree that goes beyond the Benin boundary? What I'm trying to say is, can the OBA pass decision that affect the Esan, the Auchi, and other areas? Please shed more light on this one, sir.
Thank you. The first thing is that the symbolic meaning of Ada and Ebe.
Yeah.
The Ada is the symbol of authority of the Oba and any traditional ruler in the Benin Kingdom, which we say even in the old Benin Empire, why the Ebe is the ceremonial symbol for the Oba and the traditional rulers. Now, the Ada is such a serious symbol, authority for him, because when there is a case, the Oba or the Onoji traditional rulers are handling in their palaces. Then Omwada will always come and stand by holding that Ada. That's the symbol, that's the Ada. You will see it later. You will hold that symbol That's to tell the people there that the only person that holds the authority in the entire town or community is that traditional ruler. We will call it Onoje or Oba. Nobody else has authority to possess other than the traditional ruler in the entire Benin Kingdom, extending into Esan or any part of Nigeria. It's not an item any other person other than the traditional ruler should possess. You can only find other in the palaces. Then EBEN is the ceremonial symbol in Benin Kingdom or the former Benin Empire, covering Esan, covering Edo Delta, even up to Onitsha, up to Republic of Benin. Now, you now know the symbolic meaning they have. Whatever ceremony you want to do, you are allowed. Assuming you lose your father, you lose your mother, or you lose your grandfather, grandparents, or anybody. Then when you are doing dancing, you are allowed to carry the EBEN to dance. When you are doing burial ceremony, you are allowed to carry it to dance. When you are obtaining chieftaincy title, you are allowed to carry the EBEN to dance. You are allowed. Even the traditional rulers too, they carry the EBEN. Oba uses the EBEN. But the other, nobody else has authority to touch it, apart from the Oba and the Omwada. The Omwada means the carrier of the other, the bearer is the person who carries it. If you see the Oba sitting down, you will see one young man carrying the other, another young man carrying the EBEN. One on the right, one on the left. And the Omwada is always on the right of the traditional ruler, because it's assumed the traditional ruler is right-handed. Now, that is that. You now know the symbolic meaning.
Yes.
You are now asking me whether he has authority over it. Let me tell you who the Oba of Benin is. The Oba of Benin is the father, is the highest man, so to say, or the father of all traditional rulers in the whole of Edo State. And beyond, up to Delta, up to Onitsha. The Obi of Onitsha, the first Obi of Onitsha was a son to the Oba of Benin. The first Oba of Lagos Island was a son to the Oba of Benin. The first traditional ruler in the Republic of Benin was a son to the Oba of Benin. Yasigbe Yadema, who was president in that country, traced his roots to Benin. That was why he came to Benin when he was president to tell Muritala Muhammad with that third East Circular about 30-something years ago or 40 years ago. So Benin is not this Benin. Benin Empire is not the Benin you are seeing now. That is why whatever we are doing in Esan or doing in Delta is a miniature of or a repetition of what happens in the palace. That's the position. And the other is not for everyone. The prince of the Oba or the Onoje can only touch the other if it's authorized. Otherwise, there's Omwada, the bearer. The prince can take any decoration if he want to decorate, but not the other itself. Because I have no business with going, because the other is to execute an evildoer. If this person has committed a heinous crime or sacrilegious act, it is that other that the Oba will use to direct that he should be executed. Because then there was nothing like gun. The one we had there was the other. It's the ultimate. You will use in executing the person. If you want to kill him, that's what you use. Wow. That's why it's a symbol of authority. When you look at that, you are afraid. You now know that when the Oba carries that and raises it up before the person on trial, he knows that he has been sentenced to death.
Wow. That is beautiful. Sir, the OKUKU system again now that has been banned, if the use of a can or if and all that. Sir, I want to throw light into this one again because a lot of people are confusing the issue. Do the commoners have the right to wear a can or if maybe in their dressing and all that, sir?
Let us rephrase it.
Okay, sir.
Let us say the abuse of the traditional dressing codes. I think we say it now. We now begin to discuss one after the other. First of all is the OKUKU. OKUKU can only be done by a married woman. I repeat, a married woman in the husband's house when the husband is doing a burial ceremony, or when the village housewives or the town housewives want to do a visit to the traditional ruler. The women will do okuku. It's a kind of hairdo that is unique, not done all the time, approved by the traditional ruler and the elders of the town for specific ceremonies. It's not what you do and you go and visit another person with it. No. It is done, okuku is done by the women for specific ceremony. They are done themselves. It's a completion of their dressing code. Then that is that. So these days now, you want to marry, you now prepare the bride with okuku. No, it's an abuse. It's an abuse. Those days, you want to go and marry, there's nothing like okuku. Then this, what do you call it? Event? Yes. Yes. These women now decide to be doing it. They want to change it. They are altering the culture. It's altering the culture at variance with the settings and approved the system.
The ordinal system, right?
Yes. So, two is you talk of the Ivie.
Yeah.
Ivie is not meant for everybody. Ivie is essentially meant for the traditional ruler, the Oba, the Oje, the chiefs, then the princes and the princesses.
Strictly, right?
Strictly. Then the commoners are not supposed to wear Ivie. The commoners that can only wear Ivie are when you are doing a ceremony, like you lost your father, you lost your mother, or you are getting married to a young girl, or the young girl is getting married to a young man. When you are done with the ceremony, 1 or 2 days after, you have no right to wear Ivie again. You cannot wear Ivie when you're a commoner and dress with it and go out from your house and you go and visit friends and people. It's not done. It's not allowed. The only group of persons that can do that are the chiefs, the princes, and the traditional ruler himself. But you can wear any other bead, though. If you want to decorate yourself and go out, that is the position. That's the official position. In any case, the bead, Ivie, to tell you how serious Ezienlen or the BENIN people have taken it, is that if you are wearing Ivie traditionally, culturally, and you are offered a meal, or even want to drink water, you pull that Ivie, put it on the table or by your side before you drink anything or you eat any food. When you are done, you wear it back. You cannot wear Ivie and be eating and be drinking. It's a taboo. But what you see all over now, the people wear it to occasions, wedding ceremony, what do you call it? Any ceremony you go, this is what you call wake up reception for late parents. People are drinking, eating, wearing Ivie. It's an abuse. They are abusing that system. Because it's not allowed. It's not good. It's not good. I'm sure if they were respecting the culture appropriately, the Oba wouldn't have gotten agreed to say no longer allowed. They were abusing it. The value. Can you not see our traditional rulers no longer wear the beaded hat they used to wear? They now wear hats like my own now. No beads again, because people who are not even the commoners, small children of 20, 30, 16, they wear the cap the traditional ruler was supposed to wear. Then the traditional have left the cap for them now. You can no longer identify them. Those days, when you see it, the way you identify a traditional ruler was the kind of cap he's wearing, the kind of bead he's wearing. When you see that person wearing that, you just go and meet him and say, Zaiki. You don't need to ask whether are you a traditional ruler from Ekpoman or from Ubiaja Woimi or from Wari or whatever. You don't ask. Even if from Wari, he's wearing it. You just go there and say Zaiki because you know he's a traditional ruler. Because the way the traditional ruler wears is different from the chief. The chiefs may wear 1 or 2 EVA like the one I have worn now, like this one now. But the traditional ruler will have a number of them that is wearing. And their owners distinctly different. I'm wearing this one, not just because of this interview, because I'm a prince. If I were not a prince from the royal family, I have no right to wear it. That is the position. All that dresses is the same. But there are enough ways to do a pattern or wear apparatus, dressing apparatus that you commoners can wear. But they should leave out the ones for the traditional rulers and the royals alone for them to use.
That was a very beautiful one. From the picture of what you just played now, I think the Oba wasn't wrong by that pronouncement, because it's like he's saying that they should leave what belongs to the Oba and the kings for the kings, while the commoners
Yes.
should go with their own.
Yes.
And I think the VA is a kind of more symbolic than what it is in appearance. Again, because it's not a thing people should just possess because they can buy it. I think the authority behind is what is more important from the way you explained that.
Yes. EVA is so important to the extent that if this one happen to cut, assuming I'm dancing in a ceremony, and this twine, this rope, we're using, yeah. If it cuts and these pieces, each piece falls, let's say 2 or 3 fall away, and you should know the number you are wearing. You should know beforehand. If they are 86, 90, 120, 60, you should know. Once it falls off and you pick it on the ground and one is missing, you must look for it. You stop dancing. Everybody will be looking for that piece. This one piece. The ceremony will stop. Everybody will be looking for this piece. They will look for it and get it and give it to you. You wrap it and go and keep, because it must be complete. You should not take it to a ceremony or wear it outside and it's cut and 1 or 2 are lost and you just gloss over it. It's not allowed.
Serious.
For any other bead, you can wear it and it's cut. Maybe 10 pieces are gone, no problem. But if there are 26 pieces that you wear and it's cut and you are looking for 2 pieces, you now have 24, you must get the 2 pieces. It's not a question, it's not optional. Everybody there in that vicinity, in that environment, will help you look for the 2 pieces that are lost. You can imagine the importance, the value.
Yeah.
So that's what they are devaluing the view now. The culture, the BENIN culture, they are devaluing it. The Ezienlen culture, they are devaluing it. So the upper is absolutely right. I am on his side. I'm not just on the upper side. I'm on the side of the traditional rulers and our culture.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. So I think we have collected not enough, but let me give you a space to rest for now, and some other time we are going to be here to tap from your weight of knowledge you give it. On the final note, sir, I want to pass a message to all some people. Okay, fine. Before passing the message to some people, please give us another insight on what I just showed me right here, sir.
Yes, like I said, it's unfortunately that a number of us that are knowledgeable in this culture and tradition, we appear to shy away from our culture. I don't know, either because of pride or we want to say we have arrived. I don't know. The only book that is very reliable when I was researching was the book written by Okokuku. So, and Dr. G. Okoji, you understand what I'm saying? I read that one, and that word spurred me into looking at this book to read, to work on this kind of book. That is the book. It's called Esan Native Laws and Customs with Ethnographic Studies of the Esan People. Ulupeju Press, Benin. Yeah? Okay. So by Dr. C.G. Okoji. He published it in 1960. Yes. And I will say this, my book too, is titled The Vernacular Architecture of Ezienlen. The Vernacular Architecture of Ezienlen, Volume 1, written by my humble self. That was published in 2013. This one has a number of things. I tried to highlight some of the things that I think that we are losing as much as I can. I'm not a historian, but I'm an architect. Now, when you look at this one, this is a traditional house, a building built long time ago This is a diagrammatic representation of it. Is this one different from the modern building? It's a hipped roof. So hipped roof or pitch roof system is not new to us. It's been there. Hipped roof system has been there. So it's not the white man that came to teach us. Look at the skeletal framework. It's been there. Then look at the section through such a building. Look at the framework. Look at it. Then look at the wall. Like you were asking me in the courses of mud wall just now. This is the Onu. This is the Eva. That's that's the Resokun. This kind of building now, thatch roof like this one. This is common with the Igbo people, but there's some people have it too. Some parts of Esan. If you go to Zogono area and other parts of Esan, you see this kind of structure there. Now, you come here. These are the roofing materials, the roofing system and the roofing materials. Then the technology of installation too, you see it there. Then you have the house construction implements, tools, like I said. Then you have, do you know what this one? This one is called Okpo in Esan. This is Okpo now for in Esan. And you'll be wondering, this is sculptural work. Tell me which column is as beautiful as this. This one. This is a column, wooden column in the palace of the Onoji of Urumi. This is a wooden column.
We had it before the white man came.
We had it before the white man came. I will show you the photo, the picture. You see it in the picture form. And you tell me that the column we are having, the modern column of a square or rectangle or a circular columns are more beautiful than this. We had our whole technology. This one says so many things about our culture. Okay, look at the ceiling system. That ceiling is timber.
Serious.
Timber. This ceiling is timber. Purely timber. Everything is timber. Then these are the decorative system. Look at this one. Look at the decorative system on the wall. These are my sketches anyway, but you will see the real photograph. Then this is the palace of the Oba Benin with more than 21 courtyards. It's still there. The palace is still there today.
See today, right?
This one was built over 800 years ago. And the Europeans came when? They came when? In the 14th, 15th century. Now, if you live there, let's come here. Look at the column now, the sculptor. Look at the column. Okpo. Look at the picture now. Look at it. That's Urumi Palace. Look at it. Look at the door. Double leaf door. With sculptural work, with carving. Look at it. Done before the white man came. Look at it. So what is new about, you see a design work with sculptures or moldings on the door now. You say, oh, they have done it. Look at this one. Could anything be more beautiful than this? Then, you now see, these are the shrines you have in Esan. Then, you now see, look at horizontal fluting. Talk about horizontal fluting. In Benin Kingdom, covering Esan, is one architectural element that is exhibited in the entire Benin Empire. It's not anywhere else. Look at it, horizontal fluting of the walls. Look at it. You see horizontal fluting. Decorative system in a wall. Look at this wall. Can anything be more beautiful than this? Then you come. Look at the column. Star-shaped column. Look at it. The columns we have now is just a rectangle. Look at this one now. You see star-shaped column. In the palace at Urumi. Then look at the lantern. There used to be a lantern in the palace. Look at the lantern here. It's not. The skeletal work is still there. That was the lantern you have at night. They put it on. The children will be playing. There will be light for them to play around. If there's a ceremony, you put it on. These were not lantern manufactured by Europeans. No, by our people. This is the palace at Urumi. Let me show you the floor plan. This is the floor plan. That's the side plan of the palace at Urumi. Look at it. You can see the foreground. Look at it. You have to travel some 700 feet, 600-700 feet before you get to the real palace building. And the setback, you can see it. That's our culture, because all ceremony will take place in this far background. The entire town will pour into this palace. Look at it.
And I see the faces.
And you see have enough spaces. You have the palace forest background. Forest behind the palace. These are the colors. If you look at this one, you have so many courtyards. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are about 5. You have 6. There are about 7 palaces here. Courtyards here. So you come here, you go to that Urumi Palace, Palace of the Oneji of Urumi. This is the Palace of the Oneji of Irwa. Look at it. This is the Palace of the Oneji of Ekpoma. Look at it. This is the Palace of the Oneji of this Ekpoma. You see this mask, the BENIN mask that was returned from Britain some time ago. Okay, first act mask. Then look at the timber work. You can see it now. This is a ceiling. Then you now see, you come here. This is the Palace of the Oneji of Igwebe. Look at it. What else can be more complex and interesting than this one? Look at this one. You see it now. This one has more than 8 courtyards. Look at the forest background. And you have courtyard 1, courtyard 2, courtyard 3, courtyard 4, courtyard 5. So many. This palace is still intact. It's still there now.
Right?
Yes, it's still there, intact. Then look at the floor plans. Look at the elevations. These are the photographs of this building. This is a bust of the Alogerio of Igwebe, Okaigun, the late one. That's the bust. So, then you have so many others. This is the palace at Uboha. This is the palace. You have so many of them here. Then I will take you quickly. This is Ebele. Then this is Ewu. This is yes, Ezienlen. Yes, I did. This is Urui. This is individual buildings now for some persons. I will go to a specific building now to tell you the evolution of Ezienlen architecture. Then, first of all, look at the building materials. Look at timber floor, suspended floor, timber suspended floor. Look at it. Why must you be concrete all the way? We have local building materials that can give us the same.
Like decking, like
Yes, sir. That's it. Yes, sir. That's it now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. This one is in Ekpoma. Then you come here. You look at this compound now. This is my own father's compound, my late father's compound, inherited by my elder brother, Prince Matthew Ode Ahianba. This one, I lived in this building until some 20 years ago. If you look at
it today.
yeah, no, it's not there again. Now, if you look at it, this is my father's apartment with 3 courtyards. This is my father's main sitting room. That is a shrine. That's a bedroom. These 2 rooms were my apartments. That was my mother's apartment. That was my grandmother's apartment. That was one of my father's wife. That was one of my father's wife. That was another wife. The second wife was here. That's the barn. That's the main court for the daughters and the women. Look at it here. This is the entrance. From this street, you enter here. We, the boys, will be playing here. And I tell you, this building didn't come at really, it was not constructed at once. My father started adding rooms to it as he was marrying more wives. Ended up having a courtyard, closed courtyard now. So the courtyard system was not introduced to us. It's been with us for thousands of years. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Oh, we are so happy for this explanation, sir. I think on the final note now, the final message I wanted to pass to the people is this. You know, when we started in your introduction, we know you are a professor, but somehow many people, maybe after passing through secondary school, they feel that our system, our culture, tradition, the norm does not have any need to be maybe preserved because maybe they feel they know too much. So you are in position to talk to very many some people, to all some people. I want to debunk that message, reject it, and let them know that even if they are educated, that they need for to hold strictly to our culture. This time now on a very final note, sir.
Well, my dear, I would say people who have decided to abandon their culture, not just Esa alone or Benin culture alone, they have simply been allowed to themselves to be brainwashed. Some of us cannot be brainwashed. This dress I'm wearing, and this is homemade, woven in Esa here by our women, woven, sewed together here in Esa, locally made. And this piece now is more than 100,000 naira. I don't know what value you can touch it in dollars. This one is made here in Urumi, locally made. And I have other Igbulu, this is called Igbulu. I have 6 of it. I wear them to the church. I wear them to the to ceremonies. People appreciate it. If you are not proud of yourself, who else will you now accept your culture? Eh? Our black Americans in US have said, I'm black and proud. If you are not proud of yourself, who do you now want to accept you? I know if it was possible for us to change our color to white, some of us would have done it. They are ashamed of their color. But meanwhile, they are not superior to us. Our food, we have better food. We have better environment. We don't have natural disasters around us. The food we eat is from natural, we eat from nature. If you move close to these white men, you discover that they love us, they're jealous. They are jealous. They like our environment. I don't know why I'm not saying we should not. Yes, we have technology. There are cars. We can drive our cars. Yes, it's new. We can read and write. Let me tell you, even in medicine, some of AMS, you have herbs that can treat some AMS faster than the orthodox drug. I don't know why people decide to be ashamed. I don't know for what. The only advice is that we should not be ashamed of ourselves. Let us propagate our own culture appropriately. Wherever we need improvement, technologically, scientifically, culturally, and socially, let us apply that improvement. Once we improve on it, I don't see why people will not like it. I'm not saying we should do it the crude way. That is why my research says earth can still be used if you add 2 to 2.5% of cement to it. It will be in a better state and will last longer. The permeability of water into it will be reduced. Capillary action would have been reduced. So that's what we should do. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's been a very big pleasure for us here at the Ego Studio, sir. And I want to say a big thank you for the explanation and the way you've opened up so many things in this interview. I want to say that we've learned so much from your wealth of experiences, and we are happy that what you have to pass to us, we also pass to the whole world the way you have done it. And I want to say a big thank you for the opportunity again. It's something you've heard from him. If you are talking to people that are educated, you are not more educated than him. If you are talking to people that have traveled out, you're not traveled out far more than him. He knows what he has been telling us, and I'm sure if you grasp it and apply the wisdom in what he has been telling us, you have so much to gain from it. You see, as interviewers or researchers, we actually don't always have what we have as our opinion or superior opinion. What we do is we ask people that know, and they tell us what it is. Now, you've heard the truth about the decision of the OBA on who must use the other and those that must not use it. Your individual opinion does not matter here now. The truth is what matters here. You may hate the OBA's pronouncement, but that doesn't change anything. You may love the OBA opinion too, but that doesn't change anything too. Now that we've heard it, I think we now have the wisdom to apply what he had just said. We may say, no, the OBA belongs to Benin and not Benin, but today we'll be told that Benin Empire is different from the Benin of this day. So today we've come to the end of whatever we have here now, and I'm happy you've known one or more things about it all. So some other time again, we are going to come out with another interview that will add more value to what we've already know. Thank you once again. I'm your host, Sunday Ahianba in Ego Studio, London, UK. Thanks for being with us all the while. Goodbye.